Most of us find it nearly impossible to sit in a quiet room for 10 minutes without reaching for something to do. We've become so accustomed to a constant stream of digital noise that silence now feels like an uncomfortable void we need to fill. This reaction has become subconscious. The moment a conversation pauses or we find ourselves waiting in line, our hand is already moving toward our phone before we've even decided to check it. When we spend every free second looking at what's trending, we start defaulting to the popular charts for our music and the top results for our clothing. Without periods of solitude, it becomes difficult to tell if we actually like what we consume, or if we're just following the loudest signal in our feed. Breaking this cycle requires a specific 4-step daily routine. By dedicating 30 minutes a day to a specific type of unplugged walk and using a physical capture system, you can train your brain to stop consuming and start generating its own ideas. Learning to sit with the initial boredom of being alone is the first hurdle you'll need to clear to develop a perspective that isn't just a copy of everyone else's. Step 1 is the baseline walk. You need to commit to 30 to 60 minutes outside every day with one strict condition: your phone stays at home. It's tempting to bring the phone just for music or a podcast, but headphones create another layer of input. To let your own thoughts surface, you have to remove the digital safety net entirely. You should expect this to feel physically restless at first. Without a screen to focus on, your mind will scramble for stimulation, and you'll have to consciously resist the urge to turn back. Currently, your attention is likely fragmented, like the left side of this diagram, scattered across a dozen different apps and trends. The goal of this walk is to move towards the state on the right, where the lack of external noise allows your brain to settle on a single, clear line of thought. By stripping away those external influences, you're forcing your brain to reset. In that quiet environment, your mind eventually has no choice but to start processing its own observations, instead of just reacting to someone else's content. You cannot begin to develop original ideas until you create a physical boundary that keeps the digital world from interrupting your thought process. Step 2 expands this discipline into your micro moments. This is the public waiting rule, and it applies whenever you find yourself idle, like waiting on a metro platform. Think of the times you normally default to your phone: standing at a red light, waiting for a bus, or in a doctor's waiting room. During these windows, keep your phone zipped deep inside a bag or backpack. The goal is to make it physically inconvenient to reach, breaking the reflexive habit of checking it out of boredom. You will likely feel a persistent physical itch to see your notifications. Acknowledging that feeling and choosing to stay observant of your surroundings instead is how you rebuild your capacity for deep focus. Reclaiming these small pockets of time is what trains your mind to stay present, even when the environment around you is dull or repetitive. Step 3 is the observation framework. Solitude isn't just about being quiet. It's about shifting from passive consumption to active analysis of the world around you. This aligns with a core principle often attributed to the Buddha: know, don't accept. In practice, this means interrogating your circumstances. Instead of just feeling frustrated that a project isn't working, use your time alone to ask exactly why it's failing and what specific variables you haven't accounted for yet. Even observing mundane details, like how traffic flows through an intersection or how people interact in a crowd, exercises your brain's ability to look for patterns and logic in everyday life. Learning to question the environment you're standing in is how you begin to build a perspective that isn't just a reflection of your social media feed. Step 4 is the capture protocol. This is the immediate action you must take the moment you return from your unplugged walk. You must transfer your thoughts into a physical notebook or diary. Using a digital app risks re-exposing you to the very notifications and distractions you just spent an hour escaping. When you start this routine, you should expect a period of total silence. For many, the first 4 or 5 days yield almost no original ideas because the brain is still detoxing from constant digital stimulation. If you stay consistent, you'll typically find that by day 6 or 7, your observations start to connect. The questions you've been asking yourself finally begin to develop into the specific creative insights you were looking for. Without a physical notebook to anchor these thoughts, the mental clarity you gain from solitude will evaporate the moment you re-engage with your screens. Successfully implementing this 4-step routine changes your relationship with your own mind. You no longer fear boredom. You view it as the raw material for new ideas. Creating this distance from your devices allows your own interests to reemerge, shifting your focus away from algorithmic trends and back toward what you actually find meaningful. The payoff is work that feels different because the source is different. While anyone can copy a trend, it is much harder for others to replicate a strategy or a story that was built from personal observation and individual reflection. The process starts with a single choice. Put your phone down, leave it in another room, and go for your first 30-minute unplugged walk right now.